Welcome back to Project Off the Shelf on Real Builds. If you were wondering why we were delayed in getting the final episode out, now you can see. The weather up here in northwestern Canada kind of went crash. It had been unseasonably warm, which kind of put us off guard. And then boom, minus 18 and a blizzard. And lots of other issues. So we're going to journey into the shop and have a chat about Project Off the Shelf. So excuse the little car if she's dirty. I just backed her in out of the snow and ice outside. We've put about 650 miles on it since completing it, and that's been out beating down doors for a job and regular driving and kid to school and this, that, and the other thing. It's been good. It's been reliable. The car's running really, really well. Very pleased with it. It looks okay. Still not happy with the paint, but it'll be a long time now before I get to it. The engine has worked out really well. So far, we're averaging a combined 46 miles to the gallon, town and highway. And we've had a high of 53 and a low of 43. So she's running out really well. It's doing well. It's not using any oil, not being a pain in the butt. It handles really well. It's been a long time since I've driven a car this small regularly, and it takes some getting used to, especially this one where we had lowered it in the past, and that made it stiffer, and I'm getting older. It'll be a great car in the summer. It'll be an absolute hoot. It's much like driving an old MG Midget or Triumph Spitfire. Very, very agile, very firm ride, but not a lot of ground clearance and not a lot of power. So you kind of got to keep your speed up and hold it up. So she's been not a bad little car. Now let's look at the goals we were talking about when we started this. Now when we started the project, or when I started the project, we only had 3 goals. I had just been laid off. I needed and had just lost my Cobalt as a driver due to too expensive to fix engine problems, and I needed a safe, reliable car as inexpensive as I could get away with. So we know it's safe, everything works fine, the structure is good, it doesn't leak, it doesn't cause any problems. It's been reliable, 650 miles so far. Right around 1,000 kilometers. We've got no issues coming up, so I think we've hit the reliable and as inexpensive as possible. So let's talk about budget. Now, I already had the car, so I put in a 0. If you were doing this project or you're looking at doing a project, you can always insert what your budget will be to find a car. I needed an engine. Fortunately, I had one that I had pickled and had been sitting, so I didn't have to pay anything for that. Gaskets, I needed a headset, an oil pan gasket, and the headset got me the intake and the exhaust and the other bits. That was whole $47.85. Oil filter was $6. When seems hellishly expensive to me when it was only $47 for the gasket. Fluids, oil, gear lube, antifreeze came to $56, and that kind of drove me crazy because I didn't realize how expensive gear lube had gotten. It had been a while since I had to buy any, and it was $32 just for the gear lube, so that kind of knocked me off my chair. And then there's disposables. That's the paint that I had to buy, not what I had on the shelf, and cleaners that I had to buy, a couple gallons of solvent, tape, all of that kind of stuff. And that came to $244 for a total of $353.85. So all in all, I think we did quite well in putting the car together. Now time, there were 2 weekends, about 10 hours a weekend, so that was 20 hours. And then I worked on it every night 2 or 3 hours. So another 30 hours. So we're looking at 50 hours total to build the little car. Now, is it the greatest little car ever built? No. Did it meet our goals? Well, I believe so, and I think the evidence shows it. It's safe, it's reliable, it gets exceptional gas mileage. It's not embarrassing. There are still some things that I want to do to it over time. You know, polish the paint out and get rid of some of that, and some jerk slash the top. So I've got some longer term repairs to do there. But it's watertight. It's watertight, weather tight the way it is. So I'll have to make do until I'm back to work and I got some dollars in my pocket. Now what's important is this is a project you can replicate. It doesn't matter what kind of car. But what you have to remember is the reason that I was able to do this project as inexpensively as I did was I'd been collecting stuff for it for a long, long time. You know, originally I had other plans for the car. I wanted to put the high performance engine in it that I have most of the parts to build. I had the engine that went into it. So it essentially cost me nothing. The car, my daughter abandoned basically, so I wound up with it, with the blown engine. And I'm a scrounger. Like if you look around my shop, you know, I collect pieces everywhere I go. And if I can pick up a real good deal on something, I'll snag it. Plus I have a decent shop. You know, it's not the world's greatest. I don't think you could make a living out of it. But for a home garage, I'm in pretty good shape. And I keep most stuff that I use day to day on the shelf. So I didn't have to buy as much stuff as if I was starting from square one. But if you think of it, $350 and 50 hours of your time. Say you go out and find an old Honda for $1,500. That means you're going to do it for only $1,800. You know, get a running, driving car. But the whole idea was to show you don't have to have a lot of money to build yourself a ride that's kind of cool or different or whatever twists your tail. The workmanship on the car is good. You know, anywhere you look, there's nothing wrong with this engine bay. As a matter of fact, there's nothing wrong with this engine bay compared to a lot of stuff you see. It show and shines. And we've been through every piece. You know, we've been through the front brakes. Fortunately, you didn't have to buy any parts there. We've been through the rears. We've been through the axles. We've cleaned, painted, and touched up everything. We've solved the rust problems for the most part, other than just in front of the rear wheels on both sides I'll have to go back to. We've solved structure problems, and in the end, it's a decent looking little car. As I said, she'll hustle down the highway at 70 miles an hour, and she'll give me 50 plus miles to the gallon on the highway. Combined is running right around 46. There's nothing to complain about with a little car like that. So that brings us to the conclusion of another Real Builds project session. I think Project Off the Shelf turned out pretty well. I must, because I'm driving it, and I'm enjoying driving it. It's getting me where I need to go. It saved me a bunch of money compared to going out and buying something equivalent. And most importantly is, I hope it inspired you. You don't need big dollars to build yourself a nice ride. And I think this project, more than a lot of the others, really pointed that out. Yeah, you gotta be sharp, you gotta be a scrounge, but if you're willing to do the work and you're willing to take the time, you can build a pretty cool ride for not a lot of dollars, even if it's just a daily driver. So I'd like to know what you think in the comments. Give us a like, a share, and hit notify. But most importantly, I need your input. Is this the kind of project you want to see? Because we have others coming up as soon as I'm back to work and got some dollars moving. But I'm looking to the future. The little Geo Metro is now going to be my driver for an indeterminate period of time. I'm going to be offline for a bit because, as you see from the snow and ice and stuff, I have weather issues to deal with and work issues to deal with. and maintenance issues on our regular vehicles to deal with. So in the meantime, you can email me. Email address is in the About section, or leave a comment and let me know what you think, what kinds of things you want to see as we go into the new year. So that's it for now. Last thing I should mention, all of the off-the-shelf project videos are going to be going into a playlist of their own. They'll be coming off BS and Bench Racing and going on to their own playlist. So if you're looking for it, you'll just have to go to playlists. And again, you know, like, subscribe, notify, enjoy it, and please comment, let us know what you think, so I know what to do as we go forward. Till then, I'm going for a drive, and I'll take you along for a little bit of it. That's it for now from Real Builds. So here we are, out for a little drive in Project Off the Shelf. You can see the snow isn't confined to my yard, but the little car handles it really well, so it's not a big deal. Nice little exhaust note for a convertible, no undue creaks, groans, whines, or other problems. Just a nice little car. And it's fun to drive. It's just a cool little piece that will be a toy for the next while, and come spring we'll see how she's doing and maybe make some changes. So for now, that's it from Real Builds. Enjoy the weather and have a great day. Take care.